Temperatures, I love those temperatures, sun, fair, mild. Now, we haven't had too much snow, winter-like conditions, so are we done with winter or will we see some more?
Actually, that's a very good question, and there's a big event going on in the stratosphere, which is just above where the weather occurs. And I had the opportunity to talk to Dr. Simon Lee, and here's the interview that I had with him earlier today. We first broke news to you of a potential stratospheric warming event on our website, and now it appears imminent. Winds around the polar vortex are going to rapidly decelerate and switch directions. This occurrence often, but not always, leads to a changeable weather pattern across the northern hemisphere. Today we chatted with an expert in the field on how the stratospheric polar vortex could impact the weather across the northern hemisphere. Dr. Simon Lee, a research scientist with Columbia University, said it's too early to determine if there will be any impacts, but there are a few signs of what might happen.
It's still a little early to say anything concrete about what we're going to see over the coming month. And we see a shift of the storm track and the jet stream further south, which on average enables cold air outbreaks from the Arctic to become more frequent and often more intense.
Now, digging back through the record books, a stratospheric warming event occurred in mid-February of 2001 and then again in 2018. The 2001 event had no noticeable impact on the weather. It remained warm with less snow. However, in February of 2018, we saw the impact in March between the 8th and the 24th. Beckley had 21.6 inches of snow in March of 2018, well above the average of 8.9 inches, and Bluefield had its snowiest March on record with 32.3 inches of snow. But as Dr. Lee advises, the impact from these events is not immediate, and not every stratospheric warming event is alike. We're not going to immediately see a pattern shift just like that, correct?
Yeah, so we think about stratospheric warmings, we define them several tens of miles above the surface, about 30 kilometers or so. And so that's a long way above the weather patterns that we experience in the mid-stratosphere. And so we need time for that pattern to propagate downwards into the lower stratosphere, where it can sit just above the troposphere, where the weather patterns that we experience take place, and then bias them into certain different configurations.
One useful tool that meteorologists use for the long-term forecast, at least for the next 3 or 4 weeks, are teleconnection patterns. The North Atlantic oscillation has been positive most of this winter, and that has kept the jet stream north of West Virginia and us in the mild zone. There are signs the NAO will become negative, and that would support a colder, potentially more snowy regime in March across southern West Virginia. We will continue to follow the trends and, of course, keep you updated with our Storm Watch 4 7-day forecast. Meteorologist Chad Merrill reporting.